Thursday night live on Fox League. Best of the best.
Hey guys, where you going? Where you gonna be?
Melbourne Storm and the Penrith Panthers.
Here we go.
Who do you love?
Last year's grand finalists back at it.
Right here, right now.
The Panthers chasing 5 straight premierships. That's right, 5 straight.
You have watched something superb here on Fox Sports.
Craig Bellamy Storm, the favourites to stop the run of this champion side.
Just brilliant.
Doesn't get any better than this.
That is stupendous.
A fully fit Ryan Pappenhausen, Cameron Munster, the Dally M medalist Jerome Hughes,
Goodbye.
the best player of his generation, Nathan Cleary,
Cleary scores. The Iceman cover.
Golden Boot winner Isaiah Yeo.
Oh, yes. Somebody stop him.
Thursday night, live on Fox League.
And it's underway.
A must-see blockbuster. Storm and the Panthers.
Welcome to NRL 360 Rugby League from every angle. Joining me, the great Gordon Tallis, that's Brenda Journo, Australian Paul Crawley and Andrew Webster. We've got a massive show on tonight. We've got 2 of the South Sydney Rabbitohs superstars on later on, and we're also crossing live to Harry Grant in Melbourne. But what about this blockbuster game? The grand final rematch is here. The Melbourne Storm taking on the Penrith Panthers. The Panthers coming off that loss against the Roosters. The Storm flew out of the gates, Gordy. Round 1 had the bye last week. You'd think they'd be fresh. They look fast in round 1.
Yeah, Penrith were super impressive in Vegas, and so were Melbourne. Melbourne coming off a bye. Penrith had a hiccup last week, but you think if something's going to get Penrith back and trying to get back on that winning way, you think Melbourne Storm will bring out the best. Grand final replay, what a game.
It was unbelievable, wasn't it? Like, Melbourne in round 1, I described them as the rugby league version of the Harlem Globetrotters. Their precision and the ability to come in round 1 of the season and perform like they did was quite incredible. Penrith were almost as good in round 1, but then you watch them in round 2 and you think, what happened?
Yeah. They were very un-Penrith-like, weren't they, against the Roosters last week? There were parts I can't actually remember them playing so poorly as they did in parts of that game. Yet, despite all that, their class, they were in it right to the very last play of the game. Penrith are $3.34. Tell me last time. Well, that's what I'm trying to remember. The last time they would have been outsiders like that in the betting market. So I don't expect Penrith to play like they did against the Storm when they, as they did against the Roosters.
They normally do respond to the Penrith Panthers, so $3.34 is good odds.
Let's
Webby.
go. Let's go.
Are you getting on? You loading up?
What do you mean? Get
Yeah,
on.
you're on.
I'm there already, baby.
You're on with Sportsbet. All right, now, what about the Roosters? Did they find the key to success against Penrith? Yes, it's only one game. Yes, it's only one win from the Chooks, but it was a big one given the circumstances. What did we see in that game that other teams could take into their performances against the Panthers?
Well, I think with the Roosters, you've got to wait to see how they respond this week and back it up against the Warriors. But what they did last week was show to me that they have complete faith. The playing group have complete faith in their coach. All those questions last week about Robbo, the recruitment, has he been there too long? Were the players responding to their messages? They went out there and they played it so well. The pressure that they put on Dylan Edwards and young Casey McLean on the wing was quite incredible.
Just we've seen these 2 kicks. That's what they did a lot of. That really tested the back 3 of Penrith. They contested every kick. They put the kick up high in the air. They had a really good kick chase. They didn't let their back 3 wind up and make those easy meters as they usually do coming out of their own end, because they use their back 3 as extra forwards, Penrith. And in this game, the Roosters just they had a ploy and they executed it to perfection.
Normally when you played Melbourne and Penrith and all the big sides, you tend to go back in your shell and you try not to make mistakes. Roosters played their own style, and that was the key for them, but then they defended their mistakes. It's okay if you're going to make mistakes, and they defended them. It was a great performance from the Roosters.
The way that the Roosters went after McLean and used Dom Young's height advantage, which they probably haven't done enough of in the past. Used the ball too. It was, but the Penrith, for mine, the biggest mistake for Penrith, or the biggest deficiency, was their last tackle options were terrible, and that's not Penrith at all. That's what I mean. I just can't see.
I don't think Nathan will get it wrong twice.
I don't think they'll do it again against.
No, neither do I. They'll certainly off. There was no doubt about that. Now, Ivan Cleary never gives much away, and with the GF rematch on the horizon, he's remaining tight-lipped.
I've moved on from last week. I'd rather not talk about it. sort of said what I said after the game, and we reviewed it and got what we needed to out of it. You get over it and move on. So, and obviously we've got plenty on our plates this week, so really looking forward to that challenge.
No, Dylan, how is he going?
Dill's all right. It's not too bad, certainly not a long termer. But obviously, it's you never want anyone to get injured, but there's plenty of injuries around the league at the moment. There usually is at the start of the year.
You go into this game as rank outsides, which is quite rare, right?
Yeah, we're confident in what we can deliver, but we're also early into a new season, a new team, and new circumstances, and always look forward to this opportunity to play on. Whenever we get to, so going down to Melbourne, it's arguably the toughest road trip in the game, so great challenge. Yeah, so definitely looking forward to it.
He looks like very excited. They're looking forward to the game, Ivan Cleary. And you know what? He moved on quickly. He's a professional. He knows that he wants to put that performance behind him and the team and bounce back this week. Now, what a test it is coming up against Melbourne. It's probably the hardest one, I believe, at the present time. Now, with Penrith, every year they just continue to deliver with all their players that have gone, moved on. They've lost some real key. We speak about it every week. Are we starting to see cracks though? Even though we've said this every year as well, mind you. But are they weaker this year?
They've got to
than
deal
ever
with
before?
Bunnings to get some Sally's no more gaps because they fill them really quick. Like then every year, they lose players and you don't think that they're strong in that. And
But could this year be the year where it actually does? It does crumble.
Well, I thought that for the last couple of years.
We all have.
And they keep on jumping the hurdles. Yeah, look, you know what? That was un-Penrith-like. And then you see the way they got broken down and Dylan Edwards, and you think they've been a champion side. Have they run out of breath? But we'll see on Thursday night.
You make a good point though, Braith, because they have filled the cracks, but you continue to lose them. Eventually, it will catch up with you. Like they've lost Luai, they've lost James Fisher-Harris, Turriver on the wing. Like it has to have an impact. And as Ivan said, then it's round 2. They've got a lot of young guys that have come into this team. And it will take time to gel, but there's so much responsibility now on the senior players, Nathan, Isaiah Yeo and Dylan Edwards, who won't be there this weekend. He's a huge out. Even though he had a bad week last week, he's got enough points in the bank, and he's missed this week. It's huge.
Look at Liam Martin, Cleary, Leota, Dylan Edwards and Toto. They'd probably be in the Penrith Hall of Fame.
The cracks are supposed to appear. That's what the salary cap's for. It's only testament, one, to the fact that they've got 9,000 juniors to tap into and their recruitment's so good, and also just the culture of their club. Like everyone talks about, the great players that they have, but the culture that's been built there since the end of 2019 when Ivan Cleary reset everything and just said, we have to start again. And that's basically set them up for the success that they've had. It's at some point, they're going to have to not make a grand final. At some point, they're going to have to fall back. And I'm not prepared after one loss to the Roosters to say that it's starting to crumble. But I know one thing. I just honestly think that at the end of the day, it's going to be Melbourne and Penrith at the end of the year, just like it was last year.
They're the best team of the modern era, right? So I'm not suggesting that either, but I think they're more vulnerable and susceptible this year than any other year.
Yeah.
I think that's a fact. This year it could take its toll on them, but that's not to say they're going to be in the top 4. I'm talking Premiership. That's where you hold these guys. That's how supreme and elite this side is.
That's how they judge themselves.
Yeah.
And you saw in round 1, though, going back to round 1, and you talk about the systems, how everyone was so aligned to what they do, and then you had Nathan and Isaiah Yeo who stood above everyone else and led the way like the champions. That's what they're going to rely on more this year than they probably have had to in previous years.